All right, it's a bright Monday morning. Welcome everybody to the studio. Philip looking genge and the great Ghana looking gege.
Thank you very much.
What the different meaning? What's gege? What's genge?
Also, so genge
Yes.
is looking good.
Okay, gege.
Gege
Yes.
is the one that owns a university
Okay.
that teaches men how to be stingy with their money.
You know,
And so I belong to the Genge family. While to my far right, maybe I said maybe because I don't want to be held by what I'm saying. Allegedly, may just be from the Genge.
No, your own is the genge.
No, my own is Genge. To my far right is the Gege.
you know, Ghana
Yes.
is the superior of the Warri English dictionary.
Okay.
So whatever he said
It's the truth.
is the truth.
Okay, all right. But you didn't comment on the part that he said you are the gay.
Well, that is his,
He said I'm correct. Why are you?
Allegedly.
He said allegedly.
Okay.
Why are you?
Alleged.
Okay,
You want to force this thing to become a manifestation of what I did not pronounce. Even the person who allegedly is receiving it understands my so.
All right. During the weekend, some sad news from the Arase's family. Former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase passed away at 69. He was adjudged to be one of the best Inspector General of Police that we ever had in this country, Nigeria. Our condolence goes to his family. He died at 69. He was Police Service Commission chairman, but was removed just for 1 year. He was appointed by Buhari in 2024, but I think he was removed by was appointed by Buhari 2023, then was removed by Tinubu in 2024. But he's adjudged to be one of the best police officers that ever headed that department. Then also we had about 22 people drowning, 13 people drowning, 22 missing in Zamfara while they were fleeing bandits. Very sad news. We still continue in this insecurity level. Then lastly, the elections in Rivers State held just this Saturday against cries, wishes, court injunctions, and so many things. It still went ahead. APC produced 23 and other parties produced 3. As a nation, we have to move forward. Former Vice President Atiku and Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, said that Rivers State is an occupied state, that these things ought not to be. But that's the country we live in. Let's go to the news of the day. Former TVC presenter said that what I thought about Peter Obi and the things I said were not things that really are. Ghana, is she eating her words?
Well, of course, we are not surprised. You see, if there is anything that can always come around any time and remain the same, is a good legacy. I mean, irrespective of what people would say about you, once you are a good person, once you've done things the right way, all you need to do is relax and allow nature to take its course. And of course, that's what we are seeing. Somebody like Morayo Afolabi talking about, eating her words after about a year plus after the election is unfortunate. She's not also the only person. The likes of El-Rufai and his son, who just before the 2023 general election did everything they think was necessary to, defend the person of Obi, to pull him down and everything. Just few years after the election, has also come back to even tell Nigerians that Peter Obi actually won the 2023 election. And this goes a long way to tell Nigerians that, you see, all you need as human is to do what is right. And like we keep talking, nobody has over the years come to tell us Peter Obi did this and Peter Obi did that. All people come on air or go on social media to say criticizing Peter Obi is that he's a liar. And the question is, at what point has he told the lie? you're talking about. Nobody have been able to give, factual presentation of the things they're accusing this man about, even after how many years of him being in the race, from being a vice president to Atiku Abubakar to contesting as the presidential candidate for the Labour Party in the just concluded 2023 general election. I mean, I know that as days, weeks, months, and year passes by, more people will begin to eat their word, haven't understand or going back to, taking their time to look at the personality and the person of Peter Obi. A lot of people are still expected to eat their word. And I would not be surprised if Ireno Omokwe in the next few months into weeks come back and also eat his words, because I know that whatever that is sustaining somebody like Ireno Omokwe that is talking now, people like the Deji Adeyanju, people like the FFK, those things will not, they won't stay for long. And trust me, at the time those things cease to come to them, they will also join those people who will celebrate Peter Obi and apologize to Nigerians for things they've said, about the person and the personality of Peter Gregory Obi.
Philip, I'd like you to weigh in. Let me try and read. He talked about depression. That she was depressed at a point that she wanted to commit suicide. She thought suicidal. Then he now said, it was because I did not know him after I made those comments. Now, let's look at it. Is she acting on the premise of the station she worked for? Or she worked in? Or she just took a general overview? Ghana just told us that we should not forget very easily that El-Rufai and El-Rufai's son said these we were not the things we knew about him, these are not the things we were told about him. So are we looking at person, personality, or general overview of what people is saying about a particular person?
When you talk about Afolabi statements, one thing comes to mind, that he who played the pipe dictates the tone. If you remember, she was the staff of TVC, and TVC is owned by somebody, and that was her paymaster. She couldn't have done something otherwise, other than to do the will of her paymaster. So if you ask me whether it was she was acting in accordance with the place where she was working or where she works, the answer would be in the affirmative. Because if the station set the rules on how the staff will go, as she was going that direction, you also realize that she had just been sacked, and she told us that Tinubu never knew who she was until she was sacked. And it was mentioned to Tinubu, who is the owner of the station, that she was the daughter of SYZ. That it was at that point Tinubu realized who she was. Now, what are the issues? She said so many derogatory statements about Peter Obi while she was there as a presenter. And now that the job has been taken away from her, only God knows what happened, why the job was taken away from her. She now realized that she was being used against Peter Obi unjustly because of her personality, that presenter, a TV personality there. Because the thing is this, Ghana mentioned Adeyanju and Rono Mokri. These are people who had, followers, and they have a sort of name. And this government could look for those people to carry out their messages. One of the messages is that Obi is a difficult nut to crack by the government. It sent G3 to their camp. So the only way to reduce Obi popularity is to ensure this celebrity, in quote, say something negative about him, so that their own supporter will see in that direction. For instance, if a very dark man say anything today, a lot of people will tend to believe that what he's saying is true. So these are the people they are looking for. So this is what happened to Afolabi. She was paid to do a yeoman job, and now she realized she's being used. She's not trying to redeem her person by saying that, I said those things I said because I do not know Peter Obi or what he worked. In other words, she's apologizing to the Nigerian populace and to Peter Obi. Like I said, we'll see more of it. As the time draws near, we'll see more of this kind of thing.
Well, I want you to weigh on some things particularly, because what we see these days are quite troublesome. We have a nation. It's actually not a nation. A nation is a collection of people that have the same language, majorly. Nigeria is not a nation. Nigeria is a state. But we have a state that is divided along tribe, ethnicity, religion, and all that. Between a nation and a state, what patriotism comes first? To your nation or to your state? Because the state holds and houses the nation. What we are seeing now is that most people are more committed to their nation, the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, the Hausa nation, the Fulani nation. Dividing Nigeria along ethnic line, what should people go after?
Okay, so you see, unfortunately, people should understand that before they belonged to a nation, first they are human. So before anyone started speaking or identifying to a particular tribe, you were first human. Because when you're being given birth to, it's the people around you that knows that your paternal or your maternal is either Yoruba or either Igbo. But as you grow, two things happen. It is either you live with your parents and understand how to speak the language, or you most probably relocate from that place to a different place where you now become or preoccupied by a different language, which you can now say, like in Nigeria, we say, look, it is time for us to start talking about where you are born, not really where you are from. Do you understand? And when people understand that they are first human, the first thing they would think is to do what a right-thinking human being should do before ethnicity, before religion, and before tribe will come in. Again, let's talk about religion.
Yeah.
I tell people, the reason why most of us are Christian is because we're born into a Christian home. The reason why most people are Muslim is because they're born into a Muslim home. So that again will tell you that the human being came first before religion. And that is why people also have the choice when they are grown to either say, oh, I no longer want to become a Christian. I want to become an artist. I want to go and be serving the juju in my village. So people, it is high time Nigerians. I think this problem is kind of synonymous with the Nigerian people as at today, where people do not care to think about what is right. Whether the government of the day is favoring them as a Yoruba person, they don't care. But the fact that they are associated with the Yorubas, they are just okay. And they will tell you, oh, you don't reach our turn. And the question is, what is your turn about the present situation that we are in Nigeria today? So I basically think that people should think first about state. Think about our collective coexistence. Think about our general welfare. Think about our general sense of belonging and how we can develop the country that we have all found ourselves to make it a place where we can live and exist and function rather than thinking about a nation. It is so disheartening to see that in the today's generation, in 2025, people are still comfortable telling you when they arrest a governor, a former governor of their state who had stolen trillions of naira, they will tell you, what it concern you, now your money, oh, the one where thief for Zamfara, the one where thief for Kanu, waiting on a do to them. Like, is that supposed to be what we are talking about?
All right. On the premise of this, in your final comments, Morayo, do you think he stood against Obi because Obi was contesting against a Yoruba man, she being a Yoruba man from the elite part of the Yoruba nation?
Well, the truth is very obvious. She has said it, and I've said it before, that she was paid to do what she did First, because she was the staff of TVC, and the TVC owner was running against Peter Obi. Secondly, she did it because she's a Yoruba, from the Yoruba,
structure.
And she needed a Yoruba man to be president. Speaking against Obi, like I said, because of her TV personality, she had followers who would listen to her voice, and that gained, attraction to her own candidate. And that is why what he said is very game here. Look, we are human before we are anything. The fact that you are even born into a Yoruba home, if you are brought up in an Asian man's home, you will grow up to be an Asian person. You see, there's this, what we study in sociology in those days, that there's a child born in the bush and was brought up by a monkey. And the human will behave like a monkey because it was the monkey that raised that child. What he pretends is that wherever you are raised, or whoever raises you, become your parent, become your tribe. It is sad that this country is sharply divided at this time. The North and South dichotomy is so sharp that you see governors in the South, just because the president is from one particular political party, they are defected from their political party to join the president as a mark of Southern solidarity. It has never been like this in the past, and it's not good for our nation. I think Afolabi, now that she had realized that what she did was wrong, I think to correct this is for her to take to her whatever handle, Instagram, what have you.
Or interview she gave to Trudy.
And that is speaking for Peter Obi to correct her previous error.
Mistakes.
That way, we can see that she's truly repentant and she had realized that she don't have to.
It's not the best.
It is not being a Yoruba or whatever. What we need for Nigeria is the best man for the job.
And let me also add before we go, because Barrister just talked about Deji being a celebrity. I want to quickly let Nigerians know. Sometimes I do not understand how we are quick to give people titles that they do not deserve. Deji has never been one, and he will never be. A man who has no integrity, a man whom over the years, like I keep saying, Deji should come and tell Nigerians, claiming as an activist, what is one of those things that he has successfully done that he can pinpoint and show to Nigeria that this is what he has done. While doing all of this struggle, Deji is one of those persons that I would never want to be on the same ship with. When a person posed as someone who is easily influenced, or someone who can just say, okay, give me the money and we can change the narrative. Those kind of people are not people that Nigerians should be referring to as activists. Deji has never been one. Deji is just that one person who I can refer to as most other Nigerians who live in Abuja and other parts of the state who just take the money and speak what is right. Deji may be speaking for APC today. I'm not differentiating Deji from the Boala, like I said. If you give Deji money, he will begin to look at what Wike said about Deji the other time. Because you went to meet a man and ask for a position and he refused. You come out and you start fighting him, and somebody like Deji will come online and tell people that Peter Obi offered him money and he refused. How can a man refuse his job? That's his job. His job is to collect.
Okay, all right. We appreciate Morayo coming out and saying at least she has fulfilled her conscience. But we'll also not take out the fact that there are a lot of other Yoruba people that stand by the truth. Late Ayo Adebanjo is one of them. Dele Farotimi is one of them. Even Falf and this other skit actor,
Macaroni.
Mr. Macaroni. I mean, they stood gallantly behind what you call the truth. The Nigerian want to build is what everyone should stand by the truth. We go to the same supermarkets, whether you are white or black in Nigeria, whether you are Hausa, Igbo or Yoruba, the same banditry and terrorists affect everybody from the north to the south. What we need to do is to stand against all these vices that wants to pull us down as a nation. When we survive, when we stand it, we'll put our hands together and make Nigeria great again. We'll be right back.